Hello YouTube. So it's time for me to make a video about reverse culture shock. I am back in the US and I am experiencing reverse culture shock. I'm experiencing it big time. The first thing that is hitting me hard is shopping, going to the grocery store in the United States versus Ecuador. In Ecuador, I'll go and I'll have like $40 in my pocket and I'll buy enough groceries for a week. I went and I spent $140 and I bought what in Ecuador would be like $40 worth of groceries. It is a incredible shock to see the prices, how much they have changed just from what I remember from a few years ago, but just how incredibly expensive everything is. Other big culture shock things that I am experiencing. So I'm driving with my sister-in-law Feliz, and she was driving down the road. There was a crosswalk. There was a couple walking across the street. She stopped to let these people walk across the street like she's supposed to. You never see that in Ecuador. People don't let pedestrians have their right of way at all. So when I'm walking around, I'm extremely timid trying to cross the street. I'm surprised when cars stop and let me cross. It's weird to me. Sun's in my eyes. I'm gonna pause this video and pick it up when I can talk to you more comfortably. So I paused for a moment to let the light change and the sun get out of my eyes, and Feliz just went off and rattled off her list. Feliz and my little brother Robin have just moved back to the US from Pakistan, and so she was going off about stuff that she has experienced in reverse culture shock. The choices, the options, everything you can buy here, like it is overwhelming. Going to the store is overwhelming because there are not only all the options that you remember from when you were here last, but a million new ones. So many things, it is hard to get into and out of the store without just freezing in awe of all the choices, of all the things that you can buy. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. There are too many options, and it is hard to not just be paralyzed by everything you see on the shelves. So I strongly suspect that my reverse culture shock experience is really different from other people because of the people I know, where I live, and the places I go, the family I have. This is the free pile, right? Like, how many communities have a free pile where you can just go drop off stuff you don't want and pick up stuff that looks good to you and you want to take home, right? Pretty unusual for the US. So my reverse culture shock experience is not going to be like yours at all. I think, especially because of the circles I travel in, they're a little more similar to living overseas than most folks. So I've got all this reverse culture shock. Hold on. There we go. Zoom out. I think they're a little more similar to the reverse culture shock that other expats, when returning to the US, experience when going shopping or dealing with healthcare or rent or things like that. But when it comes to society as a whole and the circle of friends and the places you go and what you do, I strongly suspect that things are a little easier for me than most folks. I think what I'm experiencing is culture shock light, because this world that I know in the US is a lot more like what I think a lot of folks living in South America or Southeast Asia know as their normal. The prices I pay in the grocery store, the healthcare system, all of that, yeah, it's US ass hattery. But the surroundings, the environment I'm in, and the group of friends and people that I know make things a lot easier. Would you look at that? Look at that. Does that look and feel like the United States? It doesn't look and feel like the US that I think most people know. Nonetheless, I am going to attempt to make a video to talk about reverse culture shock, and hopefully I don't sound like too much of an idiot talking about things that are outside of what I know, because my experience is different from yours. So now I'm down here on the beach, Salmon Beach. I grew up here until I was, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old, I think, somewhere in there. And this was absolute paradise for a kid growing up. You're in the city, but you're outside the city. You're on the beach, ocean's right there, and the forest is right there behind you. But then, like, just a few minutes away is a big enough city that, you know, schools, everything you need is right there. But this was my world when I was a kid, and because my friends are still down here, this is where I'm going to hang out tonight. Chickens! Somebody's got chickens. This was, when I was a kid down here, this was kind of a hippie community, and years have gone by. It's an extremely expensive place now. It's more, I don't want to say yuppie, because we're not in the 80s, but you got to have money to buy a house down here now. It is not like it used to be, but it is still a community apart, a little society apart. And here we are at my friend Sasha's house. Let's go see what's going on for the barbecue tonight. Hello! You're on YouTube, Sasha.
No.
No. Robin. Hey, all right.
I think his thinking is
Sasha
that,
says no YouTube for Sasha. All right.
I think his thinking is that.
Sasha says, fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you, YouTube.
Yeah, true. You can't.
This is where I grew up.
I get that.
And this is why my reverse culture shock is a little different, probably, from yours.
It's called A Sea of Regrets.
I'm good on a scooter, but I'm still shaky on a motorcycle.
Prop marks all the way across, like across the top.
More than anything, it's the prices. Man, the prices are where the culture shock is at. So I just went into my favorite little Indian restaurant in town, a place I hadn't been in years and years and years, probably 5-6 years. Back in the day, it was you hit the lunch buffet at this little Indian restaurant, and it was, I think, $11.99, something like that. It was affordable. I had lunch buffet, and a mango lassi, and it was like $27, $28. It's definitely gone up. It's worth it. It was good. I haven't had Indian food that good in I don't know how many years. I think not since I've been in Dubai, since I had Indian food that good. So I don't mind it, but going from like $11.99 to $27, $28, what? So I'm driving my mom's Prius. I borrowed her car, and man, this car, like I've always been curious about Priuses. I've always thought, like, if I moved back to the US, a Prius was a very logical car to buy. You know, it's not as expensive by a long shot as the electric vehicles. I've got the range I need, and they're, you know, notoriously or famously low maintenance. So I'm driving this Prius, and I am not all about it. I'm used to like my little Volkswagen or my Suzuki in Ecuador, where you hit the gas and it's punchy, it goes. You know, it wants to drive, it wants to, let's roll up the window for the noise here. It wants to drive, it wants to move. And you hit the gas in this car and it's sluggish. It's, you know, Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, right? Like, this car is an Eeyore. It's like, okay, I guess I'll move, right? Like, it doesn't want to go. It is so goddamn sluggish. It melts my brain. It sucks. And I didn't think Priuses suck this bad. It sucks this bad. I'm not all about it, and I really wanted to be. I really wanted to be into it. I wanted to be into this car. I wanted to eventually plan to buy one for myself, but screw that. This car sucks. So talk about culture shock. I'm up here on the east side of Tacoma, about to walk into the top of Tacoma. This was my old haunt. This is where I would hang out like 14 years ago, back when I lived in this neighborhood. This is where I would drink away the pain of being a new electrician. Man, you can't go home. This place might have changed too much for me. It's a different scene out here. I'm not sure I can hang with it. If I'm not mistaken, these guys, the Outsider Motorcycle Club in Tacoma, they're the real deal. These are true outlaw bikers, 1%ers. So I couldn't hang. I walked in the top of Tacoma. Some cool bikers there. I walked in the top of Tacoma and I was in there for all of about 5 minutes, and I was like, no, this is not my scene anymore. I don't belong here. Too long gone. I've been too long gone, and I just don't fit in where I used to be most at home. Reverse culture shock. It's real, man. It is real, and it is hitting me hard. Taking my mom's dog, Foxy Roxy, for a walk, and this cat accompanying us is Bad Leroy Meow. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I recorded a lot more video on this topic, but ultimately it is such a personal experience. I think I've said what I needed to make sense and get the point across. Peace out, guys. Leo. Meow.